Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay, Super Advanced Strat-O-Matic. A few minutes late starting than I wanted to. Had some. It seemed like either my computer or the stream internet uh, signal was not going well, so I decided to shut down the computer real quick and restart, and hopefully that re-energizes this stream and keeps everything in place. Got the final game on May the 5th. It's going to be the Cleveland Indians and the Texas Rangers. A couple of lefties on the mound, Greg Swindell for the Tribe and Mike Mason for the Rangers. Actually one roster move for the Rangers in this one. Before the game starts, they did call up left-handed reliever Ron Meredith, and he is going to take the place of right-handed reliever Anderson. Get him, Scott Anderson. So Scott Anderson sent down. Ron Meredith is brought up. So that's the roster move for today. Now, tomorrow, May the 6th, on the calendar, Tom Paciorek will go on the disabled list, and the Rangers will call up Jeff Kunkel for the next game to take his place. But right now, Paciorek is in the lineup tonight, so he is active, but he will go on the disabled list after this game is over. All right, Texas 10-12, Cleveland 11-14. Hello, Ben. Cleveland 11-14. Ballpark effects. Singles are 1-11 for both, and so are home runs. They're identical. This is game number 176. Pitcher hold, +2 for Mason, -2 for Swindell. Wild pitch 6 Mason, 0 balk, and Swindell 4 wild pitch, 0 balk. Dempsey's a pass ball 3. Don Slott's a pass ball of 16, so got to watch out for those particular pass balls. Both these pitchers in the real world had ERAs over 5, so on paper, it looks like it's going to be a high-scoring game. I hope not, because I've had a lot of those recently, and I really would like to get a close, even game that doesn't, where one or both teams don't bat around. So anyway, see what the dice say. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Yes, R.I.P. to Chet Lemon. I didn't realize he was 70 years old, but yeah, it's a shame. Definitely a shame. He was I used to like him going back all the way back to the White Sox when he first came up. But of course, obviously more well known for the Tigers during the 80s. All right, so Mike Mason, let's get his full statistical outlet here. I've got to bring back the Strat computer because when I shut down the computer, it turned off my Strat computer. So now or the Strat game. So now I've got to bring that program back up and get that game played. This is the final game again on May the 5th on Cinco de Mayo. So Mike Mason is entering this game with a record not very good, obviously. 0-3, ERA of 15.68, 10 innings pitched, 21 hits, 14 walks, 11 strikeouts. And he's facing a Cleveland team which has a lot of good hitters on it, so it does not bode well at all for Mr. Mason. But, hey, that's why you play the game. All right, so leading things off will be Tony Bernazard, and Bernazard for the Cleveland Indians is hitting .275, 3 homers, 10 driven in. We're underway. 5-7, switch hitter batting right-handed. 5-7 is a ground ball to third, and that's going to be one away. One down, as that's a ground ball to Buechele. And that'll take us to the number 2 hitter, Julio Franco, shortstop. Franco hitting .290, a homer and 10 driven in. It's a 5-6, and that's a base on balls. See if Franco is going to be able to establish a lead. He needs a 2 through 5 to do that. And if he does, he's going. That's an 8. He cannot get the lead, so he will hold. And Joe Carter, the batter. Carter hitting 179, really struggling, been chronicling his struggles all season long. He hit 264 real world with 32 homers. Right now, he's got 3 homers, 5 runs batted in, and hitting 179. 6-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. That is Bob Brower. He's a 3. 3 and a 6. I think that's going to drop, actually. That's most likely going to be a single 2 stars. 3 and a 6 is a single 2 stars. So Franco will take third base. Carter reaches. Now we're looking at the E14, which is pretty high for a center fielder. 16, 12, 17, and 18. That's a 12. It's an error. It's a 2-base error, actually, on Brower. He's an E14, and we rolled a 12. So that is a single plus a 2-base error. So Carter will end up at third base on the E8. Scoring is Franco. And it's 1-0 that quickly for Cleveland. So a single and a 2-base error. Carter goes to third. Scoring is Franco. It's 1-0 Tribe. Infield now in for Texas as they're going to be facing Pat Tabler hitting 364. 4 homers, 16 driven in. Infield is in. That's a 6-7, and that's a strikeout and a big one for Mason. 2 down. And it hasn't done Mason a bit of good that much, I don't think, but all 4 results have come off his card. He has not hit the batter card yet. He's been on his card. And when you're as bad as he is, you want it to go off the batter cards. So here's Brooke Jacoby. Clutch situation for Jacoby. Against lefties, he loses a hit on a 110. And he also loses a hit on a 2-5. So he's anti-clutch for sure. Jacoby hitting 398, 4 homers, 4 homers, 19 driven in. 1-8, and that's a walk. Oh, now Tabby is crying to get in. One moment. She may not stay long because she's crying to get in. Tabby, come on. Come on. Tabby, come on. Get in here. Come on. Come on. In or out. Come on. You're holding up the game. Come here. Come on. Tabby. Come on. Come here. There you go. No, you don't want to come in? Sorry about this, folks. She's really waffling back and forth here about what to do. Now she's going to sit outside the door. Okay. Well, you sit outside the door, Tabby. I think she just wanted to know where I was and know what I was doing. I'm supposing. I don't know for sure. All right, so the walk to Jacoby now brings up Carmen Castillo. Castillo on the replay hitting 250, 2 homers, 4 driven in. Nothing on the havoc. Mason Castillo. Hello, Parallel. Good to see you. Mason 2-6, and that's a strikeout of Castillo. And Mason gets out of it with just the 1 run. And actually now, the way it turns out, this is an unearned run now because the run he would have been stuck at third the whole time because the strikeout and walks would not have advanced him. So that's an unearned run that comes across the plate. So Mason gets away with it, only allowing the 1 run. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Cleveland 1 and Texas coming to bat. Left-hander Greg Swindell going to take the mound. Swindell, his full stats, he's 2-2 with a 3.52 earned run average. 38 innings pitched, 29 hits, 16 walks, and 31 strikeouts. And Bulldog Bob Brower will lead things off. Normally it would be McDowell, but against the lefty, they're going to use Brower. He's hitting 264, a homer, and 8 driven in. Hello, D. Scott. Didn't see you sneaking there, Captain. Good to see you. And again, Captain, on the inside pitch, thank you for the information about that SI question in parentheses being fatigued. Like I responded to you, I will definitely nix that from my inside pitch homebrews. And the only thing I'm going to do with inside pitch, other than version 3, the only adjustment I'm going to make is the wild pitch thing being a blank. That's the only thing I'm going to make. Everything else is going to be version 3 only. Hello, Kevin. Good to see you. All right, so Bob Brower leads it off against Swindell. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Franco. He's a 2E26. 215 is good all day long. E26 at shortstop. That's the question. E26 at shortstop. He's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. Not bad. And that is a 17 that he didn't do. As soon as I say it wasn't bad, look what happens. Unbelievable. He is an E26, and there's a 17 right there. 2-base error on Julio Franco. Boy, the pitching is going to be bad enough. We don't need bad fielding, but that's a 2-base error on Franco. And Brower will take second base. Nobody out. Here's Fletcher. Fletcher hitting 304. No homers, 12 driven in. 3-3, and that is a pop out to first base. That's a big out. Carter will haul it in, but it keeps Brower from moving up at all. He will stay at second base, one down for Tom Paciorek, and after this game, he will go on the DL, and Jeff Kunkel will take his place on the roster. But he is active for this game. Paciorek waiting on the pitch from Swindell. 1-2, and he gets hit by the pitch. Maybe that's a complication to why he left the game in the real world. I don't know what his actual injury was, but all I know is he goes on the DL. So it's going to put first and second. It does set up a double play from a silver lining for Cleveland. And here's Pete Incaviglia. Incaviglia hitting 160, 2 homers, and 6 driven in. He struck out 37 times in 81 at bats. Swindell with the pitch, 5-11. Fly ball right field X. We are looking at Castillo. He's only a 4. That's trouble. 4 and a 2. That's definitely trouble. That's insanely trouble. 4 and a 2 is a double, and it's a base clearing double. So both runs will score as Castillo can't get to it. And now we'll check for an error on Castillo. He's an E15. He's got to avoid 3, 6, 18, 4, 12, 14, and 17. That's a lot to avoid. That is an 8. And he is an E15. There is no 8, incredibly enough. So he avoids the error, but cannot get to the ball, and it's a base-clearing double. And Texas just reclaims the lead 2-1, and my fear is coming true already in the first inning with all these runs. I have a feeling it's going to be a 12-10 game. It's going to last an hour and a half, and I really didn't feel like playing an hour and a half. All right, but it is what it is. All right, here's Ruben Sierra. He is the league leader in home runs with 10. He's got 10 home runs, 21 runs driven in, hitting .310. That's a 3-5, and that's a pop out to second base. So second pop out of the inning keeps the base runner from moving anywhere. And now it's up to Larry Parrish, the designated hitter. He had missed some time on the disabled list, but he's hitting .288, 5 homers, 14 driven in, and 73 at bats. It is a clutch situation, and against lefties, he does gain some hits here on 2-4 and 2-10, and on 3-10, 3-11, and on 1-2. So he's got hits galore on the clutch. That's a 1-5, though, and that's a strikeout. So that party wasn't clutch. So 2-1, our score, and actually it could have been worse for both pitchers, if you want to be perfectly frank about it. I think both of them got away lucky to give up the 2 runs and the 1 run. It could be a 5-4 game in the first inning right now, if not for that. So we go to the second. It's 2-1 ball game. And here's Corey Snyder. Corey Snyder, the left fielder. Snyder hitting 248, 3 homers, 11 driven in. It's a 410 for Mason, and that is a strikeout. And unbelievably, that's the third strikeout for Mason, and 4 of his outs have come. 3 of his 4 outs have come on strikeouts. Who would have thought it? Here's Brett Butler. Not sure why he's not batting leadoff, but that's just the way their Indians are doing it right now. He's hitting 417 and just 24 at bats. He was on the DL for the longest time in April. No homers or runs driven in. Lefty on lefty matchup. 411, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-18, but he has weak power. That's a 9. It will not be a home run. It'll be a single for Brett Butler because he has the weak power against lefties. But he is aboard with a single, and you know he's looking to see if he can get the lead. 2 through 8 or a 12 will get him the lead. That's 7. He gets the lead. He's a 15. Being held is a 13, but then you add the 2 more, it's back to the 15. So a 1-15, and Butler will steal it. And he does. Stolen base for Butler. He steals second base. So with 1 out, he is in scoring position for the number 9 hitter, Rick Dempsey. Dempsey hitting 222. 1 homer and 10 driven in. 6-12, and that is a split chance. 1-4 is a single. That's a 19. He lines it to short. For out number 2. 2 down for Tony Bernazard. Bernazard, clutch situation again with a runner at second. And in the clutch against lefties, he will lose these 2 hits on 2-9 and 2-10. Mason to Bernazard. Bernazard grounded to third his first time up. 5-7 from the right side. He's going to hit the same exact roll, ground ball to third. Second time in a row he's hit that 5-7 roll. And that's going to end the inning. Go to the bottom of the second, still 2-1 favor of Texas. Swindell. And Mason only has a fatigue of 4, so obviously it's going to be a bullpen game for the Rangers. Don Slaught, the catcher, will lead it off. Slaught hitting 310, 5 homers and 12 driven in for Don Slaught. 4-9, and that is a 1-10 double. Anything else is a single. That's a base hit for Don Slaught. He, of course, will not be held. And here's Steve Buechele, third baseman, hitting 253, 3 homers, 12 driven in. That's a 6-12, and that's a ballpark blast. 1-11, but that's a 13, so it's just a deep fly to left, and Swindell catches a break. That would have been a goner, but the D20 helped him out. 1 down for the governor, Jerry Brown. Brown hitting 293, a homer and 5 driven in. What can Brown do for Texas? We will find out. 3-8, and that's a single 2 stars. That's what he can do for Texas. And now runners are at the corners with 2 out. I'm sorry, with only 1 out. So decision time for Cleveland. Do they play for the double play or do they play in? With Bob Brower, he's got a lot of B's on his card, ground ball B's. The only ground ball A he has is right here. So to me, you're looking at playing in, although he's got a couple pluses. That's a danger as well, but they're going to play in. They're going to play in. Brower's got good speed, doesn't hit many double plays, so the odds are they're going to play in. That's a 2-8, and look at that. I play in, and it's a ground, and with that we would have gotten the double play. As it is, the play is only at first base. Runner on third holds, runner on first goes to second. Could have been an ending double play, but You had to play the percentages there, my opinion. So there's 2 outs and 2 on, both in scoring position now for Scott Fletcher. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. Fletcher popped to first his first time up. This is a clutch situation, and he loses a clutch hit on 2-9. That's his only clutch differential. And what do you know? He hit it 2-9 right on cue. He hits it with a 2-9. So that single turns into a pop up to short because of the anti-clutch. So that will end the inning. Swindell again gets a break and gets out of it. We go to the third, still 2-1. He had one anti-clutch roll on the whole card, and he found it. These dice have mind of their own. All right, here's Julio Franco. He will lead off. He drew a walk and scored his first time up. Hello, Prague. That's a 4-5, and that is an in-home run chance straight up. He has normal power. It is gone. Julio Franco, his second home run of the season, and we've got a tie ball game just like that. Just that quickly. Franco with his second home run of the season, RBI number 11. And we are tied at 2. Look at it again, 4-5. Straight up in home run. He has normal power against lefties. And weak against righties, but normal against lefties. There goes a home run. So here's Carter. 3-7, struck him out. Strikeout number 4 for Mason. 1 away for Pat Tabler. 3-8, and that's a single, 2 stars, but nobody's on base, just a straight out single for Pat Tabler. He will not be held. And here's Brooke Jacoby, third baseman. He walked his first trip. .212 against the lefty. That's a ground ball third base. That's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. And again, Mason catches a break getting out of this with just 1 run. The way he's pitched to only have allowed 2 runs in 3 innings to me is almost remarkable. So we're tied at 2 going to the bottom of the third. And leading things off for the Rangers will be Mr. Pashorek. He was hit by a pitch and scored his first time up. That is a 5-4, and it's ground ball third base X. We're looking at Jacoby. He's a 4.25. Well, these Cleveland fielders are not very good. 4-14, though, he might catch a break. 4 and a 14, I'm sure he'll get to it. He does. It's a G2, which is good enough. There's nobody on base. And he is an E25. That can be the big one. E25, 6, 8, 13, 15, and 17. Those are the numbers to avoid. And that is an 8, so he does not avoid it. Look at it again. He is an E25. And there's an 8 sitting right there. 1 base error on Jacoby. So an E5. Now this is the second error for Cleveland. Texas has already had 1. So fundamentals are not quite there. Shork will hold. Not go anywhere. Here's Incaviglia. Maybe both these teams need to get with Harold Reynolds and watch baseball tonight. Learn the fundamentals. 6-7, and that's a walk. It's not going to help the cause either. As Incaviglia will draw the base on balls. Brings up Ruben Sierra, nobody out, 2 on. Swindell having issues. 5-5, strikeout. That will certainly help the cause. His second strikeout. He did that one in the worst way. Now double play gets him out of the inning. Parrish is a double play candidate. 3-10. That's a strikeout. He's also a strikeout candidate. There are not 2 outs, so the clutch is not coming to play yet. So strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts. And now he has to get Don Slot to get out of the inning. In the clutch for Slot, he loses a hit on 110. That's his only clutch rating. 3-5, and he grounds it to third, so that's going to be an easy play. We're just going to say that he reaches on the fielder's choice as Jacoby just steps on the bag with Short coming in. So it's going to be a fielder's choice, lead runner out at third base, 5 unassisted. And that's going to end the inning. 2-2 ball game after 3. This is the fatigue inning for Mason. You see that number 4 right there. So fatigue is going to be in play. And he's going to start off facing Carmen Castillo, who he did strike out his first time. 4-3, and that's a ballpark single, 1-11. That's a base hit. Base hit for Castillo. He will not be held, not try to go anywhere. Here's Corey Snyder. He also struck out his first time up. 3-9, and that's a 1 for a single, and else he lines to short. That's out number 1 as Fletcher makes the play. Here's Brett Butler. It's a 5-10. That's an in-home run chance. He has weak power, though, so it won't be a home run. It will be a single, 2 stars for Brett Butler. Moving Castillo to third. But he was fortunate that he faced a batter with weak power. So now runners at the corners, 1 out. Infield looking for this double play here against Dempsey. He is a slow runner, possible double play candidate. 6-7, that's a strikeout. He's also a strikeout candidate. 5th strikeout for Mason. Now he just has to get leadoff man Bernazard, who was grounded to third base twice. He's hit that 5-7 roll twice in a row. See if he can avoid it this time. That's a 4-5, and that's an in-home run chance straight up. He does have normal power. It is gone. Tony Bernazard. Look at it again. 4-5. Switch hitter batting right-handed is an in-home run chance. He has normal power, and it is gone. Tony Bernazard, his 4th home run of the season, a 3-run shot, and that's going to be it for Mason. He's done. Home run number 4. RBIs 11, 12, and 13. It is a 3-run homer for Tony Bernazard, and the Tribe lead it 5-2. And Mason is now officially tired. Franco is coming up. I mean, Franco homered off of him last time, so I don't think they want to push the issue. So Mike Mason's going to be lifted, and they will need to go to the bullpen, see who's got the most rest. You can give him some innings. Most likely we're talking about Loynd, but we'll take a look. Actually, he's been kind of overworked just because the bullpen's been so bad. So they will go with Greg Harris. Greg Harris. Let me make sure Harris does not start a game. I'd hate to put him in, use 3 or 4 innings of relief, and then find out he starts the next game. So let me just double check to make sure he doesn't start, because he did do some starting. I just don't know when. And I'd rather be safe than sorry. Probably should have looked this up before the stream started, but didn't think about it. But it hit me to think about it now. So let's look at Greg Harris and see exactly what he got into as far as starting. Maybe he starts all at the end of the year. I don't know, but I want to make sure there's no spot start coming along for Greg Harris. Look at his daily log here. He does not start until June, so we're okay with that. So we're good to go. Greg Harris doesn't start till June, so he can go as many innings as we would like him to go, hopefully. He's got a relief innings rating of 3, so he can definitely, you would think he would definitely be able to give him some innings. Greg Harris. So Harris is a -1 hold. +1 from slot makes that a 0. And we'll get the numbers on Harris. That's right, Ben. This is not that other channel where I'm going to put a guy in relief for 3 innings and start him the next day. That's not. Of course, on the other channel, you don't get the game on the next day with the same team because you get it on fast score. So that just throws everything. You can do anything you want to when you got fast score. You can assume anybody can pitch anywhere. So, all right, Greg Harris, 0-1 with a 5.17 earned run average. 1 save, 16 innings pitched, 15 hits, 8 walks, and 12 strikeouts. Not that there's anything wrong with the other channel, just different ways of doing things, that's all. Different ways of doing things. He's more of the fantasy thing, I'm more of the straight line, by the book kind of stuff. All right, so Franco will come on. Harris looking to get the 3rd out of the inning against Franco, 4-12, and that is a ballpark single check, 1-11. That's a base hit. How about that? It would have been a strikeout, but he's got the upside down triangle there, and that cost him. A base hit for Franco. And he's got a 2 through 5 to get the lead. Does not get the lead. Here's Joe Carter, singled and struck out. 5-9, and that's a fly to right field to end the inning. But 3 runs come in for Cleveland. It's 5-2. And we'll get the gory details on Mike Mason from the Strat computer. Get his official numbers. 3 2/3, I believe, is what he ended up pitching. 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts, gave up 2 long balls as well. So Greg Swindell has been given a 5-2 lead to protect. And he'll start out facing Steve Buechele. It'll be Buechele, Brown, and Brower. The triple Bs. Maybe they're the killer Bs. I don't know. Here's Buechele. 3-6, and it's a ground ball to short. Franco. Johnny on the spot, 1 away. Or Jerry Brown. 5-7 to the right-hander. Ground ball shortstop Beck. It's a ground ball to Franco. He's getting a lot of activity here lately. He's a 2. 2 and an 8, he'll get to it. He's an E26. E26 and a 12. E26 and a 12. And right there, E26 is a 12. Yet another error on Julio Franco and the Indians. His 2nd error of the game. 3rd error for Cleveland. So Swindell can't catch a break as Julio Franco bobbles it for the 3rd Cleveland error. And we're only in the 4th inning. So Brown is aboard. Let's see if he might want to get the lead. 2 through 4, a 2 or a 4 through 9 gets from the lead. 11 he's caught stealing. That's a 7, so he does get the lead because it's 4 through 9. He does get the lead. He's a 15, being held as a 13. -2 is an 11. 1-11, he's going to go. And he got caught stealing with a 12. Boy, just talk about bad breaks. So thrown out by Dempsey. Now it's going to go 2-4 as Bernazard puts on the tag. And now there's 2 outs, bases empty. So the governor, Jerry Brown, is thrown out. And Bob Brower. 1-6 for Brower, struck him out, and the inning's over. So we go to the 5th inning with the score 5-2. Can question whether or not you wanted to, I should have sent the runner or not, but I generally try to when I can, unless the score is way out of hand. But I mean, it's only a 3-run deficit, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You want to get the guy in scoring position with 1 out. And he almost, I mean, he had a 55% chance of being safe and just didn't work out. If he makes it and he scores a run, it looks like a brilliant move. Hindsight always 20/20. Here's Pat Tabler. 3-8 for Tabler, and that's a leadoff walk. He will not be held, obviously. And here's Brooke Jacoby. Six, 7, and that's ground ball, second base X. Since he's not being held at first, the second baseman, Mr. Brown, will keep his full 3E16 because he's not responsible for holding the runner. 3-12. Let's see if that's going to be good enough for a double play or just a G2. 3-12 is only a G2, so he can't turn a double play, but he could get a force play. He's an E16, so 3 and then 15 through 18. And he makes the play, so it's going to go as a 4-6 fielder's choice. And Jacoby will take over at first base. 1 down for Carmen Castillo. Struck out and singled, also scored a run. 5-4, and that's a catcher X. We're looking at Slot. He's a 3E10. 3-18, pretty good roll there. 3-18 is probably some sort of pop out. 3-18 is actually a G3. It's actually a ground ball with the runner advancing. So we'll check on the error to make sure there's no error. He's an E10. So he's got to avoid 12 and 18. He ought to be able to avoid 18 for sure. So 12 is the one you got to worry about. And he does avoid that. So it's a ground ball, 2-3, but the runner will advance. Jacoby will take second base. So 2 down. Runner in scoring position for a clutch situation for Corey Snyder. Somebody mentioned something about B. Brian Blair. I remember that from the Killer Bees. Him and Jim Brunzell, jumping Jim Brunzell. The only reason I watched the WWF back then, or WWE, was because of Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. That's the only 2 reasons I watched. I didn't care about when they had the primetime show on and I taped it. I skipped the matches and just watched the Gorilla and Bobby portions because that was pure comedy. All right, here's Snyder. 1-7 for Snyder, struck him out. That's going to end the inning. I won't call that other channel a ham and egger because I'm too nice for that. But that's the term ham and egger is what comes to mind when I think of Bobby Heenan. All right, here is Greg Swindell. He's going to be facing Fletcher, Paciorek, and Incaviglia. So don't go telling RJL I called him a ham and egger because I didn't. I was just poking fun. 3-9, and that is a walk. Leadoff walk for Fletcher. I'm not going to attempt to steal this time because there's nobody out and I don't want to ruin a good inning. So got caught last time. Not going to get caught this time. 1-9 for Paciorek, and that's a single to center field. That'll put runners at first and second. Don't know if he wants to try to. He was being held. So that's a 12. Single to center. Butler's 0. But a 1-12 is not a very good chance there. They're going to go ahead and hold him up. Down by 3, you want base runners. So now it brings a tying run to the plate. And that brings up Incaviglia. 5-7. And that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Franco. He's already made 2 errors in this game. He's found that 12 twice. Unbelievably. 2 and a 16. I believe he's got a chance for a double play if he doesn't boot it. 2 and a 16 is a G1, but once again, that E26, that 12 is sticking out like a sore thumb. Found that twice. Almost found it again. 14, he's going to survive on that one, and it's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. Hit into by Incaviglia. 2 quick outs. Fletcher does take third, but that does put a kibosh on a big rally. 2 down now for Ruben Sierra. Clutch situation for Sierra. On Sierra's card, though, he has only 1 clutch rating, and that's a anti-clutch on a 3-4. Everything else is neutral. Swindell to Sierra. 5-11. It's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Castillo. That's trouble again because he's a 4. But 14 might catch him a break. 4 and a 14 is going to be good enough, I think. 4 and a 14 is an F2. Definitely good enough. His error rating is an E15, though. So he's got to avoid all these numbers right in here as an E15. And that's an 8. E15, there's no 8, so he got a break there too. So not the prettiest catch in the world, but it was effective. And Greg Swindell pitches out of the mess. Doesn't give up anything. So we played 5 innings. It's 5-2 in favor of the Tribe. Greg Harris, the batter, or the pitcher rather, and he'll be facing Butler to lead things off. Brett Butler. He's 2 for 2, 2 singles, stolen base and a run scored. 3-8 for Butler, and that's a single again, so he's 3 for 3. Why he's not batting leadoff is beyond me. I assume he will later in the season. He will try to get the lead. He's a 2-8 or a 12. 10, though, he cannot get the lead, so he's got to hold. And Rick Dempsey is your batter. Dempsey's a B bunter. They're gonna have him bunt, I think. So let's see here. Corners are in. So let's see where the bunt goes. It's a 2. So I want to sacrifice bunt chart. 2 goes back to the pitcher. So it's going back to Harris. He is a C bunter, so we're looking, he's really wants an 8 or less. It's a 4, and that's speed. So speed says batter lays down a good bunt and has a chance for a hit. Now, it's not very likely because Dempsey only runs at a 10, but it's still possible. So if it falls within the range, scored a single. So 1 to 10 on the D20, he beats out this bunt. He does not, but it's still going to be a good sacrifice. Sacrifice will go 1 to 4. And Butler will take second base. So Dempsey almost got it done where he got on base. But he gets the ultimate job done, which is moving the runner up. And here's Bernazard. He had that 3-run homer last time. That was off of Mason, though. See what he does here with Harris. 1-7, right-handed. That is a strikeout. Big strikeout for Harris right there. Now 2 outs, and it's going to take a 2-out hit by Julio Franco to get the Tribe another run. But Franco is 2 for 2, a walk and a home run, and a single. He has committed 2 errors, but he's done it offensively, just not defensively. 4-11, and that's a ground ball pitcher X right back to Harris. Harris is a 3E38. 3 and a 4. That could be trouble. That could score the run right there. 3 and a 4 for a pitcher. 3 and a 4 for a pitcher is a G3, so he just barely gets to it. But now the E38. E38, and all these numbers come up as possible errors. So if he can avoid error here, it'll be a miracle. E38. Let's get the card here. So all those numbers there, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, and 18. That is a 12, and that is an error. Yet another error in this ball game. This one on Texas, they're second. It's the 5th error of the game. This one on Greg Harris, and that will score the run. I'm sorry, the runner's on second. It will not score the run. It's just an error. So going to, he goes to third on that E1. So the fielding, like I said, has just not been particularly exceptional in this game. Runners at the corners, 2 outs now. Franco looking to see if he can get the lead. 2 through 5. Does not get the lead. So here's Joe Carter. (4-4), and that is a ballpark blast. 1 to 11, but that's an 18. That's the kind of year it's been for Joe Carter. He has a chance at a home run, and he just goes deep to left because he couldn't quite get a good D20 roll. So Harris gets out of it without any problems as he catches a break with the D20. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 5-2. Swindell back out. Will be facing Parrish, Slot, and Buechele. Parrish, Slot, and Buechele. 5-2. Ground ball first base C, so that's a 3-1 put out as Carter will flip to Swindell covering. And that'll bring up Slot. 6-8 to the righty. 1-4 is a single. Anything else he lines out? That's a line out to short. Out number 2 for Buechele. So Swindell, bad first inning, but he's had some iffy innings, but he's been getting through it pretty well. 3-10, and against the right hand, it's a ground ball to third. So a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 7th. It is still 5-2 Cleveland. Actually, it's a lower scoring game than I thought. I was expecting by this point to be a 10-8 game because neither one of these teams can actually pitch all that well. But they've been getting some decent rolls, which have gotten them out of jams. So here's Pat Tabler, and they're going to pitch Greg Harris till his arm falls off, basically, because they need to eat innings. This will be the 3rd inning for Harris. He did pitch a 3rd of an inning here and then 2 complete innings here. So he's gone 2 1/3 so far. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short by Tabler. 1 away. And that will send up Jacoby. 1-8, and that's a base on balls. Jacoby is not going to go anywhere, though. Here's Castillo, 1 for 3 with a single. 3-9, and that's a 1-4 single. Anything else he lines to short? That is a liner to short. 2 down. And that brings us to Corey Snyder. Snyder 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, so he's due. 3-6, and he's due for a double on a 1-4, but that's an 18, so he's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So Greg Harris has gone 3 1/3 innings of shutout relief, and he's given Texas exactly what they wanted. Bobby Valentine very happy, and they will keep him in the game to pitch a little further as long as he's effective. So we go to the bottom of the 7th here in Texas. It is 5-2 Cleveland. This will be the fatigue inning for Greg Swindell. And we are in the inning now where pinch hitting is allowed if I so choose to do it. But right now, Jerry Brown, 271 hitter, not going to hit for him, not going to hit for these 2 guys. So we're going to keep it status quo, at least for right now. But we are in the 7th inning stretch. And so obviously what that means is take me out to the ball game. Okay, 7th inning stretch is in the books, and now we are ready for the bottom of the 7th. Swindell, this, like I said, this is his fatigue inning, so need to be cognizant of that in case he gets into trouble. Of course, the computer, I got a game on the computer, so scoring it as we go. So the computer will certainly tell me when he reaches fatigue, but I still like to keep a mental note myself and not rely on the computer 100%. All right, here's Jerry Brown. He's 1 for 2. He singled and reached on an error by Franco. Also got caught stealing. 3-5. Ground ball to short. He's going to ground to Franco. No error this time. Franco will field it and throw to first. 1 down. That's right, Ben. You won't hear that on the other channel. The other channel just walks away for 2 or 3 minutes and asks you to sing it for yourself. Well, we try to provide a little bit more service than that. Here's Bob Brower. 3-6, and that's a 1-2 double. Anything else is a single. That's a single for Brower. 1 out single. Brower 2 through 9, but boy, do you want to try to? Well, you're down by 3, so I don't think you're going to go anywhere. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning. Did that once already. Don't want to do it again. Here's Fletcher. Fletcher hits into a double play, so be it. 1-9, and it's a ground ball shortstop B, so he didn't hit to a double play. It's a fielder's choice. 6-4. 2 down. And they'll take it over to Wimpy, Tom Paciorek. 6-3, and that is a strikeout by Swindell. So how about that? Strikeout Swindell. Strikeout number 5. And Swindell has made it through 7 innings, saving the Cleveland bullpen a bit. We go to the 8th, still 5-2. And Greg Harris back out. He's not tired yet, so they're going to have him keep going. Brett Butler is on the bump, and newly brought up Ron Meredith is in the bullpen loosening for the Rangers. It's his first game. He, in real world, was 1-0 with a 6.10 ERA, 21 innings pitched. So he is warm up in the bullpen. Hello, alternate. Good to see you. 5-2 Tribe, top of the 8th. Butler is 3 for 3. You can keep that going. 111. That's a ballpark single check, 1-11. That's a 19. So there goes the 3 for 3 is now 3 for 4 as he lines it to second base. Snagged by Brown, 1 away. Normally I would pinch hit for Dempsey, but since they're in the lead, we'll keep the better defenders out there and let him hit. 4-7. And that's a 1-4 single. That's a 19, so he's going to line it to short. 2 down. I'm really curious at the end of the season to see the fielding stats and see. I bet the shortstops have like 600 putouts with all these L6s that the ballparks provide. So I'm sure it'll be an outrageous number of putouts. Here's Bernazard. 1-8, and that's a walk. So a 2-out walk to Bernazard. But Bernazard, his 3-run homer in the fourth is what gave the Indians the lead and kind of set the tone for the rest of this game. Bernazard, if he wants to get the lead 4 through 6, he gets caught with an 11, but they're going to try it. 10, he does not get the lead. So here is Franco. 2 outs and a runner at first. Franco 4-4, and that's a ballpark blast. 1-11. That's a 16 though. So Franco just deep to left, and that's going to end the inning. And Greg Harris, wow, just really pitching well for his team, keeping his team in the game as best he can. He's gone now 4 1/3 shutout innings to keep his team in the game, but they can't score off of Swindell for whatever reason. They get close, but they can't do it. So here's Incaviglia. It'll be Incaviglia, Sierra, and Parrish. This is the part of the order they need. And Harris will start starting in June. He does get some starts because he made quite a few starts in real world. So he's gonna get to do that in June. Bobby Valentine finally wised up and put him in the starting rotation. Here's Incaviglia. 1-7, and that's a 1-17 single. That's a base hit for Pete Incaviglia. So Incaviglia reaches. Here is Ruben Sierra. And I think Texas is going to make a move on the bench for a better runner and a better defender. They get Pete Incaviglia out of there, and they will go to somebody else that can play left field and run faster. Can't speak right. Namely, Oddibe McDowell. McDowell will come in and play center field to move Brower to left field. And he's going to run. McDowell is actually going to run for Incaviglia. So McDowell enters as a pinch runner here in the 8th, and then will be a center fielder in the 9th. Brower will move to left field in the 9th. So McDowell is your pinch runner, but down 5-2. They're not going to try to steal. They just want somebody decent on base and somebody that can play good defense in the 9th as well. So McDowell will come into pinch run. And that'll bring up Ruben Sierra. That means they have to hold McDowell on. They would not have been holding Incaviglia on. 7, nothing going on. Here's Sierra. So that means the second baseman, Bernazard, is forced to hold on McDowell. So ground ball second base X, he's going to turn to a 5. 1-8 against the lefty. It's a fly to center, and that's 1 away. 1 down, and that sends it to Larry Parrish. He's 0 for 3. 1-6 against the lefty, struck him out. That is, I believe, strikeout number 6, if I'm not mistaken. 2 down, and that's going to flip it over to Don Slaught. And he's a 224 hitter, so they might be looking for a hitter for Don Slaught because they do need offense. They're going to bring in Gino Petralli. He will hit for Slaught and stay in the game to catch. So Gino Petralli, although he's only 7% against lefties, so I better not do that. I just noticed that. He's 302, but that's all against righties most likely. So let's look at a right-hander or a switch hitter that might do better. Curtis Wilkerson's going to pinch hit, and then Petralli will stay in the game to catch. How about that? So Wilkerson will be your pinch hitter for Slaught here in the 8th inning. And then in the 9th, Petralli will catch. So there we go. Curtis Wilkerson. Curtis Wilkerson will pinch hit for slot. And on the replay, Wilkerson is only hitting 167. He's only had 12 at bats. He was a 268 hitter real world, so hasn't really had a lot of opportunities, but he's going to get one here against Swindell. 2-8, and it's a 1-3 single, but that's a 19, so another line out to short. Like we need those, like we need another hole in the head, and that's going to end the inning. So Wilkerson fails. Gino Petrali will be the new catcher going forward for the Rangers in the ninth. So we go to the ninth, still 5-2, favor the Tribe. Swindell is not tired yet. He could go for the complete game, actually. Greg Harris obviously is going to stay out there. He is not tired yet, and he's been pitching so well. They're not going to mess around with bringing somebody else in that might struggle. They're going to stick with Greg Harris. He will get a couple days off to rest in the bullpen after this one. He's going to need about 3 days off. So I will note that he pitched so many innings. That means he needs rest. I'm not going to bring him out here tomorrow in the next game to pitch. That would be kind of bad. All right, here's Joe Carter to lead things off. And now we'll get the defensive alignment. Brower will move from center to left field. McDowell will take over in center. And Petrali is your catcher. So there we go. Now all that's cleaned up. Here's Joe Carter. 6-11. Greg Harris, 6-11 is a ballpark single. 1-11. That's a 15. Joe Carter really can't catch a break anymore. When you're struggling, those kind of results happen to you. The 50-50 chances don't turn out 50-50 anymore. All right, here's Pat Tabler. 2-8 for Tabler, and that is a solid single. So the Ranger bullpen, again, Ron Meredith, the lefty, is loosening. And I think if it gets down to Butler, they'll bring him in. But without that, they're going to let Harris try to finish it out. Here's Jacoby. 5-3, and it's a ground ball short. I'm sorry, 5-3 is a ground ball first base X. And the first baseman's Pachorik. He's a 3-E-8. 3-E-8. He was not holding Tabler on. So he keeps his 3. 3 and a 16. Chance for a double play, perhaps. 3 and a 16 is a G1. And he is an E8. So he has to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. He's got to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. That's a 14. Boy, how close was that? 14. He makes it by the skin of his teeth. He will field it. It'll go 3-6-3, and they'll turn the double play. And boy, Greg Harris is going to check in 5 1/3 innings of relief. I don't think I've ever had a reliever go that much in this replay. Oh, and by the way, the computer is now telling me Greg Harris is tired. Well, he deserves to be tired after all that pitching, but they're not going to need him anymore, I don't believe. So, all right, we're going to go to the bottom of the ninth, but I'm going to get the final numbers on Harris because he did yeoman work for sure. So Harris is going to go 5 1/3, 3-hit shutout of pitching. Walked 3, struck out 2. So, boy, look at the stark difference between the starter and the reliever. Greg Swindell is going to come out and start the ninth and see if he can finish what he started. If he gets into trouble, look at the bullpen for Cleveland, see who's the best qualified to come in and save it. Camacho has been way overused. Frank Wills had 1 save, but he's been way overused. Vandenberg hasn't been used, but he did not have any saves in the real world. Steve Carlton has already had 2 saves in the replay, only had 1 in real world. Rich Yett has a save. Boy, they just don't have a whole lot. They're really missing Doug Jones for sure. But Ernie Camacho's been so overused. I really don't want to use Ernie Camacho again. All right, so Steve Buechele will lead it off against Swindell. It'll be Buechele and Brown. But Buechele is a 237 hitter. Although he is right-handed, he's 0 for 3, 237 average. But I think all the better hitters for Texas now are left-handed. Pete O'Brien's a lefty. He's a good hitter, but he's a lefty. Darryl Porter, not so good. So they could bring in Pete O'Brien, but then they wouldn't have anybody else to play third base. So I think they're pretty much stuck with who they have. So they're going to stick with what they've got. They'll go ahead and let Buechele hit. Buechele, Brown, and Brower. They'll stick with that. That's the other thing. If Cleveland brings in a righty reliever, all the lefty guys off the bench like Pete O'Brien and Darryl Porter can come in and start hitting. So you might want to keep them on the bench, and the best way to do that is keep a lefty out there, which means Ed Vandenberg might come in relief if Swindell can't finish. 3-7, struck him out. Buechele out on strikes. And Swindell now 2 outs away from finishing what he started. For Swindell, he has walked 2, struck out 7. So he's done pretty well, giving up 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned. Okay, I think we're back, folks. Whoever's still around, I appreciate the ones that stayed around. I think we're back now. Can someone confirm that for me? Well, I think I confirmed it myself. Yep, put my hand in there, so I know we're back. I don't know. What I don't know is how much you guys didn't see, because I didn't realize it was doing this until probably 2 batters into the 9th inning. But for those that missed it, in the 9th inning, Buechele struck out and Brown grounded to short, and we're down to Bob Brower for the final out. Thank you, Captain. Like I said, I don't know what you guys missed when it was doing that, but in the 9th inning, Buechele struck out Brown, grounded to short. Swindell going for the complete game. And he's going to be facing Brower, who is 1 for 4 with a single. That's a 4-4, and it's a catcher X. So Rick Dempsey, 3E13. 3-10. Should be no problem. 3-10 is a pop out because there's nobody on base. You can't have a pass ball with nobody on base. It's a foul out, basically. He's an E13. That's the only thing that could get him, but there's a lot that could get him there. E13, there's a whole lot of numbers there he can hit. So possible to have an error. That's a 6, and it is an error on Dempsey right there. So yet another error. E13 and a 6 is right there. It's a 1-base error on Dempsey, and it's going to keep the game going. So yet another error. The only problem is I had to restart the computer, so I lost my Strat-O-Matic game. That was almost complete. So I'm going to redo the whole game in Strat-O-Matic after the stream is over. So I don't have any totals to give you other than what I do manually. But the only totals left really are Swindell. Got everything else already done. So Scott Fletcher is up. And I noticed all these tavern rolls, we have not had one or two show up the whole game. Haven't checked for any pass balls or wild pitches or any of that stuff the whole game. Knock on wood. All right, here's Fletcher. That's a 3-6, and that's a 1-11 home run, but that's a 20. It'll be a double. It will be a double. The double is assumed to go to center field. Brower is a 16, being held make him a 15, but 2 outs makes him a 17. Center fielder Butler's a 0. So 1-17, they're going to let him score and keep Fletcher at second base. So it's an RBI double for Scott Fletcher. And the lead is cut to 5-3. The tying run is now at the plate. And Swindell on his last leg. And they may be looking to bring in Vandenberg to finish the ball game. That's going to do it for Swindell. He just can't quite finish what they wanted him to finish. And so they will bring in Ed Vandenberg to try to get this final out. If you're bringing a righty, they're going to pinch hit with Pete O'Brien, and they don't want to. Cleveland doesn't want Texas to do that. So they're going to bring in Ed Vandenberg to try to get the final out of the inning and get what almost amounts to a cheap save. This run is unearned because of the error on Dempsey. And if this run scores, it's also going to be unearned. But it is a 5-3 game, tying run at the plate. Tom Paciorek. Vandenberg. Don't have his stats because I got the Strat computer went down when I had to restart the computer. So I don't have the season stats on Vandenberg to know what he's done so far. Here's the pitch to Paciorek, 4-10. And that's a strikeout. So Vandenberg comes in, faces one batter, strikes out Paciorek, and ends the ball game with a save. Going the third of an inning. Swindell goes 8 2/3. So run comes in, and that's all they get. It's unearned. So 3 runs, only one of them are earned. How many hits? I believe I said 7, but let me double check. It might be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, 7 hits. That's what I got him for. 7 hits. He did hit a batter. Walks 1, 2. Looks like just 2 walks. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 strikeouts. This is unofficial till I get it in the computer. But final score, Cleveland 5 and Texas 3. Texas hits-wise, let's see, Cleveland had 10 hits. Texas had 7. Errors, there were a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4 errors on Cleveland. And I believe Texas had 2 errors themselves. Let's see. E1, there is 1 error on the pitcher Harris. And I thought there was a second error somewhere. Yep, the center fielder had an error as well, Brower. So there were 2 errors there. So final line score, Cleveland 5 runs, 10 hits, and 4 errors. Texas 3 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors. Cleveland improves to 12 and 14. Texas drops to 10 and 13. And that will complete the Cinco de Mayo block of games. Game number 176 is in the books. We'll move on to May the 6th on Saturday. Tomorrow night, it will be the inside pitch, 1977 game from April the 9th as we go day by day and pick the game of the day. It will be Montreal and Philadelphia, Steve Rogers against Steve Carlton. That will be on inside pitch. So I do appreciate you guys that hung out and made it through the circles in the sand, as Ben said. And I didn't catch that it was circles, that was doing circles until way after the fact. So that's why it took a little bit longer to get back in shape, because I didn't realize it at first that it had happened. So it took me a while to figure it out. And I really didn't want to lose that Strat computer, because now I got to do all this stuff again, which is okay. It's no big deal. Nothing, not like it's super duper work or anything. Just it'd be nicer if I didn't have to do it. But hey, do what you got to do. And when the internet company doesn't, sometimes on these Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights and Sunday nights, when it gets closer to the weekend at nighttime, I guess the usage goes up. I don't know. Maybe they slow my rate down or something. I have no idea. But this doesn't usually happen on Saturday afternoon or on a Tuesday night or something like that. It's usually when it gets closer to the weekend for whatever reason. I don't know why. But anyway, thank you all for sticking with me through thick and thin on this thing. And hope you're enjoying this 87 season on Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced, as we have completed the Cinco de Mayo games. And we will move on to May the 6th. And of course, it's just going to be, the May 6th is just going to be the next games in the same series we just had on May the 5th. So as I look at the schedule for May the 6th, and I look at the pitching matchups, next ball game is going to be from Fenway Park. It will be the Oakland A's and the Boston Red Sox. That will be on Saturday night, because Saturday morning will be the season ticket 1978 game of the week, NBC game of the week. But on this one on May the 6th, Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th is done. Now we're moving on to Wednesday the 6th, and we're looking at Oakland and Boston. Dennis Eckersley will get a rare start for the A's against Roger Clemens, so that will be the matchup. Eckersley and Clemens, that will be the next game in the Strat-O-Matic replay. It will start off the May 6th block, and it will be Eckersley against Clemens. Eckersley actually went 6 1/3 in real world in this game, so went more than Clemens did. But Boston won the game real world 6-2. Actually, Calvin Schiraldi got the win in relief. Eckersley took the loss. But that's the first game. Then we'll be looking at other games on this date, and we're looking at Seattle at Detroit. That will be Scott Bankhead against Walt Terrell. The Yankees and the White Sox from Chicago, Rick Rhoden against Floyd Bannister. Toronto is at Kansas City. It is Jimmy Key against Bud Black. California is in Milwaukee. Mike Witt against Mike Birkbeck. Baltimore is at Minnesota. It's Bert Behome Blyleven against Scott McGregor. And finally, we wrap it back up here in Texas with the next game between two knuckleballers. It'll be Phil Niekro and Charlie Huff the next time these two teams play. Two knuckleballers, Joe Niekro and Charlie Huff. But that's going to do it from here. Time for me to get my Strat computer back on and start inputting this game so I can get the stats up to date, up to speed, and everything completed through the May 5th block. Once again, thank you all for sticking with me, and hope you are enjoying this replay. And hope you enjoy any game you choose to play. However you choose to play it. Tabby was going to make an appearance, and then she changed her mind. Fickle cat sometimes. But until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.